I made this hack that nobody wants to play, but apparently people want to watch it, so I mean, it's good for me. And I start off by showing you guys 3-tower, and I just made these move at lightning speed. Lemmy Cooper is here. Now in this stage, you have to get everyone's favorite power-up, the mini mushroom. So I put it in this block where the star coin normally is. And then if I ever get out of here, we can see that we need it to leave. Now the reason we need the mini mushroom in the first place is because I removed the yellow lifts. Normally in this level, there are yellow lifts that take you up through the level. That's kind of like an auto-scroll kind of a deal, moving platform level. I just removed those, and now you have to slowly wall jump up to the top using the mini mushroom. The second half is more of the same. Anyway, once you're done with that, you just hop in here, grab the star coin, and then you have this. This is at the maximum possible speed, and Mario is handling that very well. And now for the boss fight, I might end up nerfing this. I added some additional balls. Let me react very well to this. Excuse me, oh, he's trying to get through. Lemmy's projectiles can't actually damage you, so the only threat is being bounced into him or his shell. So, sometimes it can seem very easy, but honestly, I've died in this fight. Are you okay? Honestly, I've died in this fight a lot of times, so maybe I should reduce the amount of balls. Now, I also made this toad house here, which is outside this time, and that's because the camera actually scrolls. And you might be wondering what I... Excuse me? You might be wondering what I decided to put on the scrolling camera. I put the first level of the game in the scrolling camera. This level is awful. My YouTube chat designed it, and it's just disgusting. When you play Toad Houses, there's 6 different ways that the items can be shuffled, and I have 0 of them memorized, because I didn't bother changing this one from the vanilla game. I just moved the panels around. The red ring is here. There's only 7 coins still. What about this one? Yeah, dude, I'm getting... Where's the Bowsers? Aww. Now for 3 cannon, I really wanted to do something with the snake block level that's normally in 3 castle. Unfortunately though, I can't because I need the red blocks. There we go. So this is the level with the snake block. One great thing about snake blocks is that they don't seem to have a maximum length. And also, quite luckily for us, cannons don't have a maximum time limit. It starts off pretty simple. I removed all of the hazards, because we're going to be here for a while. I mean, there's a couple of hazards, you know, the spikes. You can also fall off the snake block and die. But at first it just seems like a straight shot to the end, but then the snake block turns around and goes back. The snake block actually goes all the way back to the start, and then it turns around and goes back again. And then it turns back around again. That's what I get for zoning out. Now the snake block is going to take us like right back to the start, like all the way back to the pipe, because it needs to go in the wall for a little bit. I felt like it was important that it went in the wall. Alright, it's out of the wall. This time we're going to take a bit of a different route. There's this weird staircasey thing. You actually have to make a somewhat precise jump after like 5 minutes of riding on it twice. But finally, after all of that, it no longer turns around here, and you can go on to the next section of the level, where it goes up, past the exit, and then turns around. And with that, you can breathe a sigh of relief. You've done it. You've beaten the first half of the level. Now in the second half of the level, I don't think checkpoints work in canon, so I just got rid of it. And now we can do it all again. We start off taking the default snake block path unchanged, but I've removed any extra platforms that you can stand on. I left these donut blocks though. I mean, why not? Besides, if the snake block goes off screen, it despawns anyway. And then it goes back to the start. And when I say back to the start, I really mean it. I tried to make it go round like the perimeter of this whole room, but it didn't really work. The pathing on these snake blocks is really glitchy. It uses the same pathing system as auto-scroll uses, and it doesn't seem to be very precise. But hey, all that means is the snake block is as bad as this hack. Alright, now it's actually time to go to the end of the level. There it is, over there. We get on, we run past it, and we need to wait for the snake block to let us in the door. Anytime today, a snake block, there we go. Okay, and then it's gonna go down, and it's gonna let us in the door, alright. Then it's gonna go down, and okay. Eventually it does actually let us in the door, and the level's over, finally. It goes back and forth through a bit before falling. Remember, this is the cannon level, by the way, so we can finally go in the cannon to World 6, or, as it is a cannon level, you can also leave from the left and just not beat the level, if you want to. In 3-4, all the floor is bouncy, all the walls use the unused bouncy wall object, and also there's wind. If you do a spin jump, you can make it so the wind doesn't actually affect you, but You also have to spin jump, which is annoying. Also, the ice platforms move really fast. All in all, this leads to a very, very jank level. It's not too hard for the most part. It's actually pretty easy, I would say. At least most of it is. This star coin's a bit of a please. This star coin is a little bit of a pain. You have to get onto this, then you have to duck, then you have to get up, and then you have to time it so you can come back down. And just gotta not die to thing. It's a pain. You can see there's a second checkpoint down at the bottom, and that's because when you activate the red blocks, there's gonna be a whole different route that you can take later on. So these platforms, they move really, really slowly, and then when they hit the edge, they snap back really quickly. And then we have this section here. There actually were propeller blocks by the checkpoint, but I forgot to get them, so I have to get this. I stacked a bunch of these ice block spawners on top of each other, so you have to propeller past all of them. There's the last star coin. Please! No! I lost my propeller! Okay, I got it. Oh my god! I made this platform really fast as well, so it's a bit more of a pain to get onto it. And there we go, that's the secret exit. So when you have the red switch active, it activates these red blocks. And one thing I didn't like about the base level is the red blocks just made it way too easy. So I made sure the red blocks were more of a nuisance this time. For example, impeding your way unless you get through these tiny little areas. You can also see that Lemmy's balls have also joined us. This is because I had Lemmy's balls spawn on the death barrier the whole time, and under the death barrier, I put red blocks. I hope you got the star coin the first time around, by the way. Anyway, we gotta go underneath now, and we also have to go underneath here as well. For this section, we have to pick up and throw the ice blocks, and then we can't go the main route, so we're gonna have to drop down and get the second checkpoint here. Now, this takes us to the cave section, where I've spammed red blocks everywhere, and we have to make multiple lengths of the area. All of the grey blocks you see are the unused bouncy wall object, and they get more and more annoying the further up the level you go. What? Okay, so if you, like, jump too early, you just kind of clip through the floor. Or the ceiling, I guess, and then you slowly slide to the other end. So if you don't glitch through the floor early on, that this part can be a pain. Next up we have 3-5, and I decided to put 8-7 here instead, because I think it's a better level. This is just normal 8-7, but the skull coaster moves at the slowest possible speed. And one thing about it, you'll notice that when you go down the slopes, it actually picks up speed and momentum. So I made sure to minimize the amount of these slopes as possible. For example, normally after it climbs up this huge slope, it normally has an equally big downward slope where it builds up loads of speed and there's really fast-paced platforming. So I made sure to just replace that with a drop, so that they can't do that anymore. And that's going to be the case for pretty much the rest of the level. Any time where it has the ability to pick up speed, I just kind of remove that option. And when it falls down, it makes these weird slopes that you just slide down automatically, which doesn't get annoying at all. Because of this annoying stuff, you can't just sit and wait on the back of it, because you'll just slide down and die. You have to consciously jump off of the coaster and land back onto it. Now, once you've done that, what happens next depends on if you have the switch on or not. If it's your first playthrough, you won't have it on. It's impossible to have had it on yet. So we're gonna go in the green pipe. And this takes us to actual 3-4. Only the block moves half the speed that it normally does. Now, if you want to get the star house at the top, you need to get the secret exit. So let's hit the red switch and try out that other pipe. This takes us to the final boss. At this point, you can expect at some point in each world, you're gonna find yourself at the final boss. But don't worry, it's not totally unchanged from the original. The platforms are slightly smaller, so that makes it worth it, right? And just like in World 1, there's a pipe letting you out. And just like that, we're in the secret exit area of 2-4. Nope, 3-4. Now, of course, you have the red switch active because you just got that exit. So you go into the star house, and then you can't get the chest. So you leave, you hit the switch again, and then the chest doesn't have anything in it. Similarly, when you first unlock this toad house, you won't have the switch active yet, and yet you need it to enter the door. So you go hit the switch when you can, and don't worry, this one is accessible. I've split it into 4 sections, okay? So the middle section is all the items here. So we have a mushroom, a propeller, an ice flower, and a penguin suit. Now, the left side is entirely Bowser Jr.'s, and the right side is entirely Bowser's. That just leaves the top section, and these are the matching panels. Unfortunately, you can't grab these ones. You can hear me clicking up, it just doesn't work. If you could grab them, there would be stars, so you know. Finally, we have 3-Castle, and you need to make sure you don't have the red block active, otherwise you can't do this one. Anyway, this is a spot the difference level, so see if you can spot it. I'll give you like 5 seconds. It's the blue one. Right, it's the second one. Yeah, it's the blue one again. And I thought those were a bit easy, so here's the third one. Here's the pink one. And here's the fourth one. That's right, it's the yellow one. And here's the fifth one. It's 1-1. So we're going to run through 1-1 4 times, and you're going to have to see which one's different. Now, I have shortened the 1-1s a little bit to make it a little bit less of a pain to run through all of them. Now, I'll just tell you right now, the correct answer is the yellow 1-1, which is the next one, and I'll show you all the differences when we get there. There's 4 total differences with this 1-1. The first difference is that I added a coin block here. The next difference is that the red coins are slightly moved over. The next difference is that there's a 10 coin block here and a 1 coin block here. Normally they're the other way around. And the final difference here, next to Bowser, you can see there's a gap of 2 blocks instead of a gap of 1 block. So lots of just really significant differences. Honestly, you're a fool if you didn't notice them. And now on to room 6. 3 of these have the same value, 1 of them does not, and it is your job to figure out which one is different. I'll give you a hint. 3 of the 4 options are equal to 5, whereas 1 is equal to 6. That's right, it's the blue one. Here's number 7. Hope you know your capital cities. One of them's not a capital city. That's right, it's the blue one, again. And then for this one, you have to type in a Google Docs URL, only that's actually not the URL. So, see, unfortunately I made a typo, so I made a little correction in here, just so you know, so they can type out the correct one. And the URL takes you to an AI-generated story about Lemmy Cooper solving a spot the difference puzzle. And it's written out 4 times. The difference is that in the second column, there's a comma missing. So once you find that, you know to go in the pink door. Next up is this one. There's 8 boxes of scrambled nonsense. And finally, there's room 10, although first you need to turn on the red blocks. Yeah, in case you didn't know, you can just go and turn on the red blocks and then walk back without deactivating your checkpoint. So the way I made this work is I placed a Lemmy off screen, and that's the Lemmy that's tied to the cutscene. The way the Koopaling cutscenes work is that if you kill any Koopaling, it'll automatically end the fight and end the level. Now what's interesting about this one is it's mirrored, so the ones on the left are mirrored from the ones on the right, but that didn't matter because only the one in the bottom right has a Z in it. Before I pick that one though, if you pick the wrong one, it just locks you in and you have to hit the spike. Here we are, this is the correct one, it blocks off the spikes, and now we can reach Lemmy. Now I'm pleased to announce that this isn't glitchy at all. He doesn't get stuck off screen, so you don't have to worry about him doing that. And even if he did get off screen, it didn't matter, because he just comes back anyway. Lemmy! Anyway, 3-1 super skills, that sounds cool.